Happening today in Northampton, members of the Department of Health and Human Services, in collaboration with several regional organizations, will be hosting an event to honor the lives that have been lost to overdoses and raise more awareness about the opioid crisis. Western Mass News reporter Taylor Smith joining us live in studio with those details. Taylor, what can you tell us?
Well, David, this year's theme is Together We Can, which emphasizes the importance of collective action and advocacy for policy changes. Now, this event will take place this afternoon from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Forbes Library in Northampton. Activities will include resource tabling, training and distribution of Narcan, and community networking. Now, the formal program, which begins at 7 o'clock with guest speakers who have been affected by the opioid crisis, including family members and friends of overdose victims, as well as professionals in the field. And the night will conclude with a Luminaria Memorial. Now, the International Overdose Awareness Day has been observed since 2001, aiming to reduce the stigma and increase awareness about the prevalence of overdose deaths. And for more information on this event, you can head to our website, westernmassnews.com. And reporting live in the studio this morning, Taylor Smith, Western Mass News.